Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, I have got Embrys on the live game, and I'm going to be walking you through my initial build, how I'm looking at this champion, what he can do, and yeah, I did 10 live arena battles. We'll speed it up to like 1.5 times, and I'll just walk you through all of those battles at the end as well. But needless to say, right at the start, Embrys, initial thoughts on him, having played him for a bit. The dude's a freaking monster. He's absolutely crazy. And we're doing this without a soul, so he's only going to get better as time goes on. He's kind of nuts. He should be ramping up here for the final wave of faction. This is Faction War Stage 21 of normal. I do expect him to really carry in hard mode as well. I'm just really using Form 2 for this. Here he goes. Kaboom! Nice big nuke. 240k right there. He's tanky. He's powerful. He's a freaking monster. So yeah, anyway, that's Embrys. We're going to dive into it. Let me just finish this off. And yeah, let's go. All right, great. We can see, yeah, Embrys. Bam! He's the man. He is the man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There's a couple of ways. So right from the start, there are a couple of really significant ways to build him that pushes your build in very different directions. I have a preference. It's probably fairly obvious from the start here, and that seems to be a little bit different from others. But yeah, let me break it down step by step. So here we go. We're going into this. So what does he do? In his base kit, number one, this necrosis stuff is really powerful. So when enemies die, and there's dead enemies on the team, there will be a necrosis. As you saw, it doesn't work on the boss. Didn't happen to the boss from his minions. It doesn't work against them. We saw that from Faction Wars. But it does work incredibly well in Arena, incredibly well for wave content. And it also activates not only Necrosis, which I believe is a 5% damage loss per stack. So it's like a poison tick, but it can stack multiple times depending on how many dead enemies there are. He also activates it on enemies. He like explodes it for free at the start and at the end of his turns, which is actually really strong. Adds up to a surprising amount of damage in Form 1 if enemies are dead. His A3, he takes Stone Skin and replaces them with True Fear. And then he takes block debuffs and replaces them with block buffs. Now, because this is replacing, it doesn't actually count as removing. So it won't actually trigger the 50-50. Stone Skin set has a 50-50 chance to block removals or steals. I believe it also is a 50-50 to block, reducing its duration, but it doesn't do so against this. This will always remove Stone Skin. I've heard some people say that it doesn't need accuracy. I haven't tested that properly yet. It possibly doesn't need accuracy, possibly does. I'm not sure. I didn't build much accuracy on him, and he's still doing it, but I've built enough to mostly work, so it's a bit hard to test. That's something to test a bit more in the future, but I think it doesn't affect, in my opinion, how you build him, which is why I've not been too bothered. But it's sort of interesting to know what to prepare for, and is it worth building high-resist teams to defend against him? That's something to look into in the future. Now, it will also swap all buffs positively affecting stats. So, for example, increased attack becomes decreased attack. Strengthen becomes a weaken, etc. Then he steals 5% turn meter for every buff converted into a debuff and decreases enemy turn meters by 20%. And yeah, can't be resisted. Now, both his A2 and his A3 cannot be resisted if enemies have any necrosis stacks. And they're the moves, and this also cannot be resisted if enemies have necrosis. So he just bypasses accuracy checks. And even the 3% chance to resist is just out the window if there's any necrosis at all. His A2 is an AoE 1-turn True Fear, 2-turn decrease attack with an extra turn built in. This is not an attack. This move is. So he can weak hit on this move. This move, he doesn't attack at all. Then his A1 is an AoE that destroys max HP by 3%, up to 30%, and it increases 1 random debuff on all enemies. So, that's his Form 1. In Form 2, he's just a damage dealer. He has a HP swap if it's a boss, fully heals him up, and fully fixes his destroyed max HP. And every time he uses this skill, he gets 10% ignore defense in his alternate form, up to 50, and this gives him an extra turn. His A2 is an AoE on a 3-turn. It does double damage to enemies whose accuracy is lower than his, and he ignores 50% defense if their accuracy is higher than his. His A1, it's not too strong if they don't have necrosis. If they do have necrosis, it's incredible. This actually starts to hit very hard with the double hit, and it block revives either way. So he's got a block revive A1, which is really good. His passive is very cool as well. when he dies, reflects 50% of the damage back to the attacker, including surplus. So he'll just kill people. He still does the necrosis stuff, simple enough, but he does not activate it at the start and end of his turn in Form 2 like he does in Form 1. And then on a 5 turn, he has an active where if he is about to be killed, he will get revive on death for 1 turn before he takes the damage. So he'll pop back up at like basically 0 turn meter, very low HP, but he will pop back up alive unless, of course, block revive is placed or he's got block buffs on him. Block buffs would stop this as well, and so on. There you go. So how are we going to build? That's his overall kit. So damage in Form 2 and a support with a bit of damage, but mostly support and like necrosis stuff in Form 1. Well, I think I have 3 main different ways to build him. My favorite is the hybrid build, which is medium damage, medium speed, medium accuracy. This is the hardest build because you're trying to do everything, but I think it has the biggest value. So essentially with this, essentially I like the idea of going 100% crit rate, around 200% crit damage, preferably a bit more than that, of course, the more the better, and faster than your nukers. And again, this sort of depends where you're at for speed. So for me, this is like around 300-ish speed. For Krakens, this is like 350 plus speed. For, you, it might be 200 and speed. It might be 220 speed. It might be an awful lot lower. So it sort of depends where you're at. What is the concept with this build? Well, the hybrid build, we're going to probably put him, I think 4-piece Stone Skin is my favorite. You can combine, you could alternatively do 4-piece Supersonic or combine those. You could alternatively do 4-piece Pinpoint or again, combine any 2 of these. You could alternatively, again, do 4-piece Lethal, Savage, or Instinct. And again, in any sort of combination. 6-piece Feral is an option as well. It's going to give lots of accuracy and speed, and it's going to give him a 50-50 to resist Polymorph. These are all good options. I think you could go for any of these is fine. For me, I've gone for 4-piece Stone Skin, and then I've just gone for stats. I've actually got him in 5-piece Protection, just because it's giving us 24% speed, and that just worked out well when I optimized him with the gear that I have, because I've got a good bit of protection gear from farming Hydra. Preferably, I would not use Protection. I don't have it listed as an ideal set. I'd much rather have him in 4-piece Pinpoint, but I just don't have enough Pinpoint to actually do it. Or 4-piece Supersonic would be, again, amazing. The theory with this build is simple. And we can see here are my sample stats. 88k HP, 3k defense, 292 speed, 100% crit rate, 250 crit damage, and 330 accuracy. So the concept with this build is simple. We're not going to have crazy high accuracy because, number one, he's going to be debuffing most enemies anyway, right? Only high resist enemies. They're pretty rare. They'll be able to resist him, but he will still be able to go in and debuff most of their team and then really wear down their high resist, like let's say a Galathir. He'll be able to wear that down with Necrosis anyway, or potentially just start slamming that champion with an A1 in his Form 2 when there's Necrosis out and really just nuking them down. So I think that's okay. Number 2, it means that, by the way, when we go into Form 2, he's going to ignore 50% defense against high accuracy enemies. So he's going to absolutely destroy high accuracy enemies. He's going to just melt them alive. 50% ignore defense, generally going to be actually substantially stronger than double damage. It's just how it works. So that's really going to scale very well. It's going to mean that his Form 2, which is all about damage, we're going to be able to actually invest in damage stats. So we will actually do decent damage in Form 2. And yeah, bearing in mind that if there is any necrosis, any excess accuracy is not going to help you. So that's the concept of this build. The concept is, again, go faster than our nukers so we can remove Stone Skin for them, be a backup nuker, or even a main nuker, depending on the situation. And yeah, sort of a bit of everything. It's very stat intensive, and this build will explode in power when we get souls on him, soul ranks. Now, the other build, the easier build, I don't like it as much. This build is focused on your Form 1 crowd control and damage as well. So you don't even worry about damage with this, low damage. So you can forget about crit rate or crit damage. Again, I think ideally this is going to he's going to do great damage with these stats. But you could just say, we'll try get him 100% crit rate, but we won't be really focused on damage much at all. But we're going to really focus on speed and accuracy. Sort of how you might build a Fabian or an Armans, that type of build. You're looking at, Pinpoint, maybe Feral, speed, potentially 4-piece Stone Skin could work. those sort of things, and you're going for as much speed and accuracy as possible. I think this is okay, right? The idea is that if they're not in Stone Skin, you AoE fear them. Cool. If they are in Stone Skin or they put up buffs, you start stripping these buffs off. Actually, sorry, I should mention I the Super Sonic is also a great build here. Super Sonic, which is gonna basically make up for speed, which is perfect. They buff up, he gets tons of turn meter, and then you turn all their buffs into debuffs. Fantastic. Really, really strong. The downside of this build is that all that excess accuracy is not helping you if there's any necrosis, because he doesn't need any at that point. And his form 2 is going to be a good bit weaker, but it's still very good. Then I think option number 3 is just going for maximum damage. Still give him a bit of speed and don't focus really much on accuracy at all. So it's just building him as an alternate form nuker. That might be okay for an earlier game player. I think it falls off later game. This would be going like lethal Stone Skin and really, ignoring speed and accuracy, building him slow and whatnot. I much prefer having higher speed and a bit of accuracy, enough to place your debuffs on typical enemies. And you can vary that based off of your level of play. So for me, if I had a 5-star blessing, these are the stats I would have. About 100k HP, 4k defense. I'd rather have more HP, less defense. That's just how it worked out in my gear. About 300 speed, 100 crit rate, 290 crit damage, and 420 accuracy. Pretty decent. He's ignoring 20% resist, so he will basically be able to debuff and swap buffs and steal turn meter off people with like 500 resistance. He'll be resisted by people with like 600 plus. But I think I can live with that, honestly. And that's what I like. Now, you'll see some gameplay as well to see. For blessings, these are my favorite 3: Polymorph, Lightning Cage, Temporal Chains. Temporal Chains is especially good if you're going for like a supersonic, high accuracy build. That's really strong. So helping you cut in even better and strip their buffs. Polymorph, I think, is fantastic. So remember, he takes Stone Skin and he changes it with True Fear. So let's say you fight someone like an Odin. Odin in Stone Skin, 4 pieces, Pinpoint 4 pieces. So he's got Stone Skin and he's got Intercept. And that Intercept is going to protect him from Polymorph on your team. Well, guess what? When you change Odin's Stone Skin into a True Fear, that gets blocked by the Intercept. But now Odin doesn't have Intercept. And because he also has True Fear in his A2, he's actually very good at removing Intercept stacks. This makes, I think, him very strong with Polymorph. More so at 6-star, because it depends how much, again, accuracy you're going to build. Well, I've got him about 300 accuracy, so he'd be fine. But at 6-star, that's really where he goes crazy. And, for example, becomes very good against like a Galathir, because now you can be polymorphing Galathir, whereas otherwise you wouldn't have enough accuracy. But Polymorph is very strong. Lightning Cage is very good. More so, I'd say, if you're going for like more of a damage focus to protect Stone Skin, going a bit slower, or just protecting his buffs and more of a go second situation. Temporal Chains is, again, very good and more of those speedy go first. These have been my favorite 3, and I think they all have benefits. For Relics, I have him with the Orb of Transfixion, which is fine. Bit of HP, bit of accuracy. I've given him 2 of these where he gets more accuracy. So he can get up to 80 more accuracy if enemies keep resisting him, which is fine. Wand of Submission would be ideal. Let's actually jump over to this. Lots of great options. Wand of Submission, I think, is perfect. HP and speed, even a bit of accuracy if you max it out. But this is a chance to reflect these debuffs, which is really strong, particularly reflecting Sheep, because he will get polymorphed. So I think that's ideal. Stormcaller is really good on him as well for the crit damage. And whenever he lands a critical hit, he's got AoE attacks. So this is pretty decent. He'll start pumping out some stuns, which is pretty good. Not essential, but I think it is really strong. You probably put that on a Marius if you're lucky enough to have one. But yeah, it's pretty good. Essence Quencher from the Clan Quest is good too. This one will give you damage based on target's turn meter. That's quite strong for just boosting sort of a HP damage dealer. It's probably the best HP damage dealer. Damage increasing relic. I think the Infernal Polytope is quite good. Resets his skills. That's really nice, particularly with his Form 2 passive, and he's going to be pretty tanky, and it's going to give him HP and speed, so it's quite good. And Hand of Uncreation, Orb of Transfixion, these are good as well. This one gives you loads of accuracy and can potentially stop enemies debuffing you, stealing your buff, stealing turn meter, increasing your skills. It's quite nice. It's an option. Orb of Transfixion. You've got a chance to steal a buff when attacking. Again, that's pretty good. And the 2 circle gem slots are quite good. So HP and a chunk of accuracy. So it's quite nice. Lots of options. I have them with the orb right now. But yeah, he's a possibility for the wand we're gonna get. Which, by the way, just to shout this out because it's gone live today, the reward calendar has started. We're at 65% have gone for the wand. I have voted for the wand, obviously. We've got a few votes for Gore Crescent. I can see it. You know, people just like damage, more fun. I'm surprised some people voted for Axe Serpentis. I guess I don't know why you would go for that. That one surprised me. But hey, there we are. That's what I think about Relics. I realized I forgot to show his masteries. I have him set up like this. Again, if you are going for a pure Form 1 build, you could grab him Eagle Eye instead, just for even more accuracy. Again, I prefer like this. I also felt that I've not taken Ruthless Ambush, but it is a strong option. But I figure because I'm fairly likely to open with his A3, which is an AoE attack, it's not going to hit that hard anyway. So that limits his Form 2 nuke, whereas I think getting more speed on him is pretty darn powerful no matter what, and he will kill people, I think, with Form 2. So it depends. You could go for Ruthless Ambush to really give yourself a big nuke in Form 2 when you swap over, if you swap over for the first hit of the fight, or Whirlwind of Death as just a sort of consistent option. I mean, you could even go for Arcane Celerity, give him more turn meter, because he does place potentially a lot of debuffs depending on how many buffs the enemy has. So yeah, there you are. Again, you could also ditch Cycle of Violence if you want to. Grab Cycle of Magic or grab Evil Eye. Depends, but this is what I've gone for. I do like Methodical. It's not crazy strong, but his A1 in Form 2 is so powerful. Every little bit can help. Another option as well would be to go in for Retribution and Deterrence for some counterattacks, because his A1 is going to be extending their debuffs and destroying max HP, AoE. It's pretty decent, and the AoE attack is also pretty good with Orb of Transfixion. And yeah, again, counterattacking with a Block Revive potentially in Form 1, in Form 2, excuse me, could be very strong. So there's something to be said for the defense tree. Yeah, but for now, I've gone for prioritizing accuracy. Like, bearing in mind, Master Hexer is not very strong for him. That is something. Maybe Spirit Haste would be better. I don't know. But look, that's what I've gone. And they're the Masteries. Okay, so let's walk you through some gameplay. I recorded this on my phone when I was out for my walk today. Good way to get some steps in. We'll speed through the drafts as quickly as we can. And basically what I did was I picked the dude in every single fight. So we can see here, this is how the draft particularly went. So you can see wherever he banned my Armands, I banned Marishka. He's got Fabian in the lead. I've got Lazarius. We're going to be picking mostly the same champions every single time. Oh, sorry. Let me back it up so we can see each of the fights and actually get a vibe for how they went and how he performed. So here we go. I've forgotten how some of these went. I definitely made some stupid decisions in some of them, but we're going to like boost up, and here we go. So, oh, here was an interesting thing. I actually do remember this one. So, in terms of your gameplay, sorry, I'm going to interrupt it a little bit, but in terms of gameplay, he works very well in Live Arena because you've got so many options of what to do. It's going to be a bit more difficult to program a defense for your AI to use, right? Because this move here, if enemies are under Stone Skin or block debuffs, this move isn't really going to do anything. It's just going to give him an extra turn. If enemies don't have any buffs, though, this move will be an attack and steal some turn meter, but it's not actually going to do all that much. So you've got options. It might make more sense to open with his A3 to remove Stone Skin, and then when they don't have Stone Skin, to come in and fear them, get your extra turn, and swap into his Form 2 and nuke them. That might be ideal. If they're not protected by Stone Skin, though, you probably want to open with his A2 and then just go swap, not even use his A3 at all. It depends. If they've just put up loads of buffs, you definitely want to open with his A3. So you've got a lot of decisions. It's going to be hard. So here, I think I actually used his A2 for, if I remember right, I was like, oh, A2 to fear the Fabian. And then, watch this, bam, we turn. You see one thing? You see what happened right there? So two things happen. Number one, Fabian, I forgot, his passive removes the fear. So the fear is gone. But specifically, we come back here. Oh, come back. You can see they've got Stone Skin and Intercept. We go in, we've removed their Stone Skins, and then the fears that we put on get remove the Intercept. And then look at this. These guys are really in trouble now at this point. Yeah, no, they actually missed their turn. See that? We slept with Sifi. They still missed their turn. Necrosis won't wake them up from sleep. That's good to know. That was fight number 1. He was amazing in that fight. Again, his fear on the Fabian just removed it, so watch out for that. But yeah, he really wrecked them. Here's draft number 2. Oh, sorry. Go back a sec. That was draft number 2. So again, we've got Embrys. We've got Wukong this time. They had Fabian. I thought this was the same guy. But then I looked afterwards and it wasn't. So we skip on it a little bit. Sorry, here we go. Let's just leave it. Load in. Fight number 2. How does Embrys perform? So we're going to go in. You can see... I mean, our stone skin is almost gone just from him. He's going to polymorph right there. And here, maybe here we should have done his A2 to fear the Armans. I didn't do it in the end. But he made a big mistake there and didn't freeze me. And Wukong one-shots him. Whoops. Mistakes were made. I was like, is that the same guy? It was actually 2 different people, but they had like almost the same champs, like Fabian Gizmak. Fight number 3. Okay, so fight number 3. This is the draft. Actually, tough knowing what to ban there. What did he ban? This was a nasty one, because everything is 6-star. He banned Sifi. So here we go. So yeah, he has these. I banned Armans, he banned Sifi. So we both banned the first pick. That's that draft. There we go. And the leaders, as expected, pretty much. So fight number 3. How does he perform? And you can see we're opening with like different moves each time. You're going to see this as we go on. There's lots of different options. Lots of different options. So he is massively faster than us. We counter there. Maybe if we'd landed the Enfeeble, we would have been okay, but we didn't. You need a lot of accuracy to do that. He can probably just A3 the Fate. Yeah, A3 Fabian. And bam, we're dead. Needless to say, and bam, we're dead. So, absolutely smashed by that player. Crushed us, crushed us. Okay, fight number 3. Interesting. It's bombs. Bombs and an Onryo. So here, banned Arbiter, he banned Hegemon. Yeah. Kind of expected. We're going in. Let's see. Fight number 4 for Embrys. We're boosting up. We are sort of past, by the way. We're at like around the 1400 mark, so we're a bit past, you know, the max standard milestone rewards for the season. So here we go. Okay, he actually just left. Again, we would have just nuked him with the nuker, so that worked really well for us. Fight number, is this 5? I've forgotten. Okay, so fight number 5. This is the draft. And there we are. Actually picked Lady Noelle. Interesting. I'll ban the... I think it's maybe a bit scarred for life after the previous after Galathier from the previous fight. It's like, yeah, not doing that again. So we're going to ban the Galathier. Let's see how we go. This is a really cool synergy, actually. I remember this. So check this out. So again, we're boosting. So check this out. We can just, bam, remove all of his stone skin and the intercept, and then AoE fear with her. Now, unfortunately, the monkey didn't die. Oh, I remember this. Oh, I troll so hard. So here, yeah, I was really dumb. I was like, I've gone back in time to Nuker Lazarius. Disaster. I should have just done his A2, kill the monkey, lock them out. Instead, he nukes us, and we're basically dead. So we're in huge trouble. Now we can swap to him. Unfortunately, he did get a little bit messed up by, I think someone must have Life Harvest. His max HP has been reduced, which sucks. But check this out. Extra turn. Sick. Fear actually got removed by Sifi passive. Then I swapped his HP. It is giving us 10% more ignore defense, but I didn't realize, again, because I was walking, not fully paying attention. But yeah, we're going in with his AoE nuke. Bam! And it's a substantial nuke. Again, he has no considering that I have not built him in lethal, and he does not have a blessing. It's a pretty decent amount of damage, honestly. I do think if you had him in 4-piece stone skin, 4-piece lethal, or if you had him with the better stats of a blessing, he really would have been smashing through. Armans tries to stun him, but he weak hits because he's force affinity. And then we actually, it looks like resisted Armans. That seems like a 3% right there. But I think we're going to get nuked right about now. Probably. It's not looking ideal. He's thinking about it. Bam, we get nuked. He tanks the hit, though. Magic affinity against Galathier. And that's actually really interesting. So, go back 1 second. What exactly happened there? So I think what happened there is Wukong places block buffs before he attacks. So Wukong block buffs stops us getting the block revive, but we can see the damage actually get thrown back. Watch this. The damage reflected to Wukong. Bam, Wukong just got hit for 60,000 by killing us, which is fun. But yeah, our buff was blocked. We could not get the block revive, and I think we just die at that point. So yeah, he beat us, by the way. He did, yeah, he beat us. So we're into the next fight. This is the draft. Ooh, yeah, this was a fun one. Vitreous, 6-star Vitreous, which I respect. I like the hustle. I'm banning that Vitreous. Thanks very much. He's got a lot of polymorph. I think I did some dumb thing. This was an interesting fight. I think I made a dumb mistake in this one as well with the Lazarius, I think. But yeah, here we're able to boost up. We're actually faster than his Sifi. He doesn't have a great speed aura. We're able to increase their skills. I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't actually notice. I didn't notice. This was unfortunate. The speeds are a little off, so I have him a little faster than Marius is a little slow. You can see here, Marius doesn't actually get the turn, so that sucks. Having him speed tuned to Marius, I think, would be ideal, because then you strip off their stone skin, then nuke them with Marius, and Marius will just destroy them, which would be potentially really strong. We're actually getting quite lucky with landing fears and whatnot. He gets polymorphed off her not doing it. I don't know what happened there. How did he get polymorphed? I don't know. We're going to swap him over at this point. Swap HP with somebody. And go in with the AoE. It's okay damage, but not crazy. But bearing in mind, he is very defensive. He's got Harima, who's reducing all of that ignore defense benefit that we're getting. Potentially, we're getting 50% extra against some of them who might have high accuracy. Maybe none of them have high accuracy. But even so, I went in, and like even the Marius AoE, it's not actually doing that much because we've got the Duchess damage reduction, we've got the Harima damage reduction. So yeah, I felt like his damage looked kind of underwhelming there, but then Marius also didn't make a dent. That really surprised me, actually. I was like, I was kind of expecting Marius to kill them. I think here maybe I was again concerned going, if I swap over and try to nuke them, we might not actually kill them. You see his A1, he weak hit against the Duchess. The Marius A1, again, not enough to actually quite get the kill, which is a problem. We need some extra turns here. If Fabian hadn't been polymorphed, maybe he could lock them out. But we're definitely in trouble at this point. Fabian getting resisted, unfortunately. So I decided, actually, yeah, flipping over and just nuking and trying to lock them out would be good. And now we've got the Necrosis ticking, which is pretty decent, actually. And I think I made a stupid mistake here. I think. Yeah, so here, I think I decided to block revive the Sifi, which she easily does, but I should have gone for the AoE nuke to actually block revive on her as well, because look at that, we get slammed by the Freya, and then we're dead. He could have killed us here with an A1 from the Freya. And here's another interesting thing. So we can swap HP with somebody, and he doesn't ignore shield on his moves. So I said, oh, we're in trouble. Check this out. So we start ticking them for some damage. So I tried to swap the buffs. I think we weak hit on Duchess, or else we didn't have enough accuracy. Yeah, you can see he can't swap shield. So he doesn't actually swap shield to anything. So we couldn't remove the shield, and Freya, again, she could have killed us with the A1, but Duchess kills us with an A1 to make us feel bad. So well played by that player. Badly played by me. Oh, sorry, we went too far. This is the draft for this fight. Again, we're picking all the same stuff. Similar. This was fun, actually. We got 6-star Jingwan. And we've got lots of ignore. This guy's got a strategy, and I respect it. We've got lots of ignore stone skin nukers. That's kind of spicy. So what did we banned his Arbiter to sort of go first. And yeah, then we gonna lock him out. Luckily, we didn't weak hit against Arman's, and we actually get very lucky here, and we're able to just do all this sort of stuff. Arman's gonna get a go now. But yeah, we can just fear him, and then we can actually just swap over. I think we don't even need to use his A3. We can just nuke and they're dead. And he's dead. And bam, job done. So yeah, the damage, I think, working well there. Again, lots of different ways to use Embrys, which is pretty cool. Okay, this draft, Queen of Hearts, last pick. That's an instant ban. Thanks very much. This guy's got really powerful champions, but he doesn't have too many souls. So that makes it a bit easier for us, for sure. Like a 6-star Siegfried is a lot scarier. But still, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Buffing up. This is an interesting one as well. So we're coming in, we lock him out. So he's got, again, do we fear just the girl? Or do we remove their stuff? I actually decided to just remove their stuff. And then Sifi was fast enough. We've got the 6-star blessing advantage right here. We're able to cut in. And then we're able to place block buffs as well. He misses his turn thanks to the fear, which is really nice. We're going to get Hex out from Yumiko, which will potentially redirect debuffs like polymorphs and stuff like that, which is nice. I don't think he has any polymorph, but it could potentially. Here, again, this is sick. We're able to fear him. We got the resist on Ancora. And of course, you can see the fear got redirected away from Ancora. Here, I think I was thinking about what to do. I just went with the nuke. I don't know. Maybe we should have done his A3 first and then nuked. I wasn't actually entirely sure which one to do. I think I have an Orb of Transfixion on her as well, so I was trying to steal his block damage. That didn't happen. I actually should have slept him here. I missed that part from the first fight where I was thinking that the necrosis would wake them up. We now know that it doesn't. Here I'm going to just waste his turn a little bit and block revive, I think, with our boy. And then he's open. One really nice thing about this mythical, guys, is that he has extra turns in both of his forms. So he can actually cycle through his forms very quickly. Mythicals with extra turns. Gizmak is the same. Can cycle through their abilities very fast. We actually got a resist on his Siegfried, so we don't have the block damage removed. But he's not too much of a threat. Here is actually kind of scary. This Marius got a nuke in. I think if he had... You can see that, again, the tankiness of our boy. Again, no blessing, and he is tanking that Marius. Is actually kind of nuts. And again, come in. We're able to block revive on her. Now, 2 of his dudes are block revived. He has 3 stacks of necrosis, but we're actually able to just strip off his buff, and I think just finish him off with the A1. I think if he had a big blessing on that Marius, we would have been in some trouble right there. So I think that, you know, blessings won this for us, or enemy player not having too many blessings won this for us. Okay, over here, a little bit different. This time, no lack of oh, no, there is a lack. Look at this. There's only a 5-star on his Commodus. John 316 with 11,000 season points. What a noob. Only 5-star Commodus. Embarrassing. Embarrassing, honestly. We're going to ban his Shuzen. He banned my Hegemon. Hegemon was hopefully going to nuke his R-base or his Shuzen, but figured he'd ban it. So I think it made sense to pick it. We've got the speed aura, but he is still significantly faster, so much faster. And we're just dead. So that's that fight. Moving on. And the final fight. We've had some very quick fights here. We've got another Mesamel. And he's going for bombs at the end. So he's lacking speed auras. And I was wondering, like, he could have a very fast Mikage. But again, without a 6-star blessing on a mythical, mythicals just can't be, or usually are not, insanely fast without a 6-star blessing. With a 6-star, yes, they are. But his Mikage is very fast. But again, because he doesn't have a 6-star I mean, neither did I, to be fair, in the Lazarius. But it sort of comes down to gear at that point. So here, again, love it. Able to AoE fear them, which is great. And then come in, bang, with the AoE nuke. And you can see she's taken a nice chunk of damage from that, but she leaves. So there you go. Those were 10 fights with Embrys and my thoughts and guide on Embrys. So yeah, I'm loving this build. Like I said, to refresh, guys, for the build, I like this hybrid build a lot, which is basically focusing, making sure we've got pretty good speed and accuracy, faster than our nukers. And I'm going for about, like, I've basically aimed for about 300-ish accuracy without a blessing, about 400 with a blessing. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm aiming for. But the ability to still do damage. And again, I think there's lots of different ways to shift this. Like, I have got him just in Stone Skin. With lethal, his damage would be much, much higher. Pinpoint would be better to give them some protection from polymorph and whatnot. So it's sort of up to you and the gear. I personally think the 4 Stone Skin is the ideal thing because we're not very fast on him, but it's sort of up to you. I've gone for Stone Skin and faster than my other damage to strip off Stone Skin and open them up to do damage, but still enough damage to actually kill people. You can see, even without lethal, we're still killing people. So there you go. Yeah, that's sort of my favorite. I think the other way is, again, just Arman's type build, just control. Also very possible, but you'll give up the Form 2, which I found to be very useful for me personally in those fights. And then max damage, I'm not a fan of this. I'd much rather, as you see, give up some damage to be more effective in Form 1. And there you are again. That sort of stuff. Let me know with Embrys, how have you found him? Have you got your Embrys? Are you far off? I've been very impressed with him. Yeah, I do think he is, as you said, a bit, as I said, not as you said, as I said, a bit weaker on defense. because his AI just can't make maximum use of it. But yeah, he's going to be a freaking monster for Arena, Siege, or Faction Wars, for Campaign if you're stuck on that. But yeah, Hard Faction Wars is coming. Arena, he's arrived at a great time. As I said, I don't see a massive use for him elsewhere. He'll smash through Minotaur and all. He'd be probably pretty good nuker for Spider, but definitely Arena, Faction Wars, where he's going to be, and particularly Arena is where he's going to be an absolute menace. He's easier to use than Carnage for sure, and I think he's likely to be just as impactful, massive for everyone's account. There you go. That is Embrys. It's hard for a champion with no blessing to have an impact on my account, but I think that Embrys with no blessing, he definitely has, and I am super terrified to see what he can do when he does get that blessing on him, and I can even improve his gear a bit. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you found it helpful. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.